As I look over the hundreds of questions that I get asked on my Instagram Q&A on a weekly basis, I've seen an overwhelming pattern of guys asking the same questions. They want to know about the advanced strategies to build more muscle. They want to know the best split to bring up a lagging body part. And I answer all these questions, and I'm happy to help anyone with lifting advice. But the problem is, these questions, they're coming from individuals who have no business even worrying about this type of stuff. You have guys asking if they should hit chest 3 times per week because their back and their arms are developed, but their chest is lagging. Then you have guys asking what's the best split for an advanced lifter, but at the same time, the average guy asking this question is about 165 pounds at 5'8" to 5'10". And they just don't see that the problem is at 165 pounds, nothing is going to be massive. And at that body weight, you likely don't have any strong points or weak points. And their entire physique should be developed more before they even worry about these advanced strategies. At that stage, you want to focus on building the base of your physique. And you want to do so by adding an additional 20 to 30 pounds to your frame. The goal is not to develop one body part, but to add muscle mass across your entire physique. All this should be done before you start to worry about what's the best split, what's the most advanced strategy you can be using. And this process of building your base, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's not a 12-week plan, it's not a 6-month plan, it's likely a 2 to 3 year plan. And the roadmap to get there, it starts with beginner training. And eventually, you'll reach the advanced stages, again, only after you've added that initial 20 to 30 pounds of muscle mass, and only after your body is fully adapted to basic linear progression over time. Let me take a step back here and first talk exactly about the exact progression you'll need to make to get from beginner to advanced bodybuilder. Let's first start with the beginner stage. Most people, they never even admit that they're here. And the fact is, most guys in the gym, even if they've been lifting for up to 5 years, are most likely still in the beginner stage. This is because at the beginner stage, you can milk basic linear progression, which basically means you can take an extremely simplistic plan, execute it week after week, month after month, and continuously add weight to the bar, progressing every single week. We're talking about starting with something like 135-pound bench press and continuously adding weight to the bar every single week, building up to a 225-pound bench press. This can easily be done over the course of a year with basic simplistic programming and proper recovery. Yet, only 1% of people in the gym actually ever bench press more than 225 in their entire life. Just think about that. There's more beginners in the gym than there'll ever be intermediates or advanced lifters. Yet, for some reason, everybody who thinks that just because they've been lifting for a few years are now advanced. It's a hard pill to swallow, but let me help you by saying that if you haven't trained consistently with progressive overload for at least 12 months and added at the very least a good 10 to 15 pounds of lean mass to your frame, you're most likely still a beginner. Scratch that. You are a beginner. I don't care if you've been in the gym for 5 months or 5 years. Now, after you spent that time consistently milking linear progression, adding weight to the bar, adding reps to each set, and progressively overloading the muscles to the point that they're significantly stronger, you've gone from something like a 1-plate bench to a 2-plate bench, and you've added a good 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. You'll start to notice that you can no longer progress linearly like you once could. Recovery becomes something that requires a bit more attention now, because now you're much stronger, you can lift heavier weights, and you can cause more muscle damage. And you can no longer just add 5 pounds to the bar every single workout or every single week. But there's still progress to be made. At this point, you need to focus on progression over time. Not weekly like a beginner, but now on a monthly basis. Each month of training, or mesocycle, that can be made up of anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks in most cases, you should have progression built into it. And while you're not necessarily going to be able to add weight to the bar every single week, the aim now is to add weight to the bar over that 6-week period. And the goal of the training block is to end up bigger and stronger over that 6-week period. Your goal now as an intermediate is not to focus on every single workout and make progression from week to week, but to stack as many productive 6 weeks blocks of training on top of each other, making slow, steady progression over weeks, months, and years. That leads to the most results as an intermediate lifter. And during your time as an intermediate, you can expect to put in double the amount of time, double the amount of effort, and get half the results you did as a beginner. It's definitely not as excited as training as a beginner, but you're taking your physique into new territory. and the rate at which you do so will be much slower. Now, what about guys who are truly advanced? This is where completely customized training now becomes a requirement. If you're truly advanced, you can't just look up a training program online, follow it for 6 months, and expect significant changes to your physique. You just can't. A truly advanced individual needs a completely customized system for their goals, ones that also fit their specific needs and programmed over the entire year. Let's use competitive bodybuilders as the example. Natural or not, it doesn't matter. Their goal is to improve their physique from one show to the next. Most bodybuilders, they compete an average of once per year, maybe even every 2 years if they truly want to maximize their physique. And the goal, in many cases, it's stepping back on stage with maybe 5 more pounds of lean tissue. In some cases, showing up the exact same weight, but with a leaner physique. We're talking about spending 12 to 24 months with 100% dedicated efforts to building 5 more pounds of muscle. This is where advanced strategies come into play. This is where it does make a difference if we train with 4 exercises or 5, if we use intensity techniques or straight sets, if we rest after legs or the day before, if we do deadlifts on back day or on leg day, if we're in the gym 6 days or 5, if we hit body parts twice per week or every 5 days. You get the point. These are all the small strategies we have to bring to the advanced stages because we've already milked all the big guns for what they're worth. We've exhausted all basic linear progression models. We've gotten super strong. We've added a good 20 to 30 pounds of lean mass from the basics. We've developed our base of muscle. Now, the goal is refinement. And that's where the advanced strategies are needed. So let me tell you now that if you still haven't gained your first 20 or 30 pounds of muscle in the gym, you're leaving easy gains on the table by complicating your training. And that's exactly why I created the 5-day mass gain program. It was designed specifically to take you from the beginner or intermediate stages and take you to the advanced level as quickly as possible. It's the exact way that I did it, and every single one of my clients are on a modified version of this plan. Simply put, it gets results the fastest way possible, using higher frequencies, basic progressive overload, and old school mass gain methods that have been time tested and been around since the beginning of bodybuilding. If you're looking to add mass, I highly recommend you grab the plan down below. And as always, if you guys want to see more of the best original bodybuilding content just like this, make sure to hit subscribe.